Right, hello guys. Today I would like to show you basically in cybersecurity sort of in practice, and for people who are interested in cybersecurity and if they would like to become like a cybersecurity expert or as basically change their career basically if they would like to become from an engineer, like electrical engineer, they would like to become a cybersecurity expert. Now, before I start, I know there's a lot of people say that you don't need any you don't need any computer knowledge to basically become a cybersecurity expert. A lot of people say that you could become, I don't know, you could become a baker one day and the next day you could become a cybersecurity student or an expert. I personally don't believe that because cybersecurity is sort of, I mean, people will say, yeah, you can. Yes and no. For me, the reason is because it takes quite a lot of basically knowledge in terms of using the computers and stuff. If someone is not really experienced with computers, they will need to learn how to use a computer first to actually do cybersecurity. I know it sounds stupid, you're just sort of an average computer user, I don't think you're going to do well. I might be wrong, this is just my personal opinion, right? You could technically say this about anything. You could become a computer designer, like a graphics designer the next day. You could become a computer programmer, right? Because you could say this about anything. It's just, in my opinion, to make this job easier, you need at least a couple of years, probably some experience with you. Cybersecurity triangle, which that's the first thing I've been taught in cybersecurity, is CIA. Now, it's not the actual CIA. CIA in cybersecurity stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability, right? Which means basically confidentiality is to make sure that any unauthorized person is not having access to something he shouldn't have access to. For example, like let's say we have a sales department, administration department, and basically what we make sure is that any unauthorized person, like from sales, he cannot access the administration team where like there's details and stuff and a database of customers details and stuff. Integrity is basically keeping the information accurate and complete, and availability is basically having the access to the information 24/7. So basically 7 days a week for the whole year or whatever, right? That's why in Packet Tracer in my last video, I have had two servers. Now, the reason as I had two servers is because if one of your servers goes down, your network goes down, right? However, if you have two servers and one of them goes down or needs maintenance, you have another server, and it's called redundancy. One server, the domain controller, is passed on to the other server, and now he becomes the domain controller, and now he's in charge of the network, right? It's like a king. One dies, one comes, the other is passed on to the monarchy. It's the same with cybersecurity, right? It's basically when you would have like two servers, and then, for example, one server goes down, the other is passed on, charged now, the domain controller. And the same thing happens with hardware. If a switch goes down from the server, there's basically what happened is a triangle is formed, right? So if one switch goes down, the other switch is in charge now, and that switch is actually the main point of communication between the networks and the server, right? That's why, and the reason is, well, it won't be a big deal if the network goes down. Well, it matters what company you have. If it's a small company, obviously, if the network goes down like at 12 o'clock and no one's working, nothing's going to happen. But if you think about it, so basically Amazon makes about $900,000 every minute. $900,000. That's a lot of money. And imagine if the server goes down for an hour. An hour? Holy moly. That's why Google, Facebook, Amazon, any big multi-billion dollar company cannot basically go down. It cannot afford to go down. Because if Amazon goes down and the website's not working or the purchases cannot be made, then the company just lost a couple millions of dollars of money, right? That's why it's important to make sure that, like, example, Google or Amazon, they're not being cheap in terms of using their services, right? So basically, what do I need for cybersecurity? You should have an interest in computing, as you basically spend lots of time in front of a computer. My teacher told me that he used to be a network engineer, I think, or a cybersecurity, like an analyst. I think analyst is like an entry job. What he done is sat in front of a computer for a couple hours and watched how the network was doing. And as you may think, imagine sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours. Obviously, that's not like the only job, but you might be doing that job as your, as your first steps in cybersecurity. Experience of computers, as I said in the like at the start, experience of computers is sort of a must. You need some experience to understand how fully computers work and stuff. You'll be taught, but it always helps if you know your stuff. You won't get bored within 10 minutes. There's some boring stuff. For example, digital forensics. I had this exam. It was an assessment. I had to basically read over 120 questions, sort of, to get ready for the assessment. Or there's boring stuff. You need to read some articles and stuff like that to actually answer questions and stuff. You're not going to join cybersecurity to learn hacking, to actually hack people in terms of bad, like black hat hack. If you're just going to do that, please don't even attempt, because I won't be happy with you. I do not want people to join cybersecurity because we're going to learn hacking. Yeah, hacking is cool, but if you do it only in ethical purposes, or at least like as a fucking valid reason, right? You're not just gonna hack someone because, oh, he called me a fucking idiot. No, that's not a fucking ethical reason. As I said, and you'll be an ethical person in terms of hacking. You'll be actually performing your job carefully. You'll be an actual good expert, and you'll be helping people, right? I'm running a website about a cybersecurity, right? I'm not running a website in Facebook and stuff to spread the knowledge of cybersecurity and how important it is. I actually had friends, because I told them like, oh, there's been a breach, and I tried to tell them that, you should change your passwords because you might be affected, and they just basically laughed off. As I said, it's sort of to be in cybersecurity and some experience. Right, so basically cybersecurity is basically IT, so information technology, like people who repair computers and stuff like that, is basically sort of an advanced cyber, like a more specialized person, right? So this is like the stuff, it's not everything, this is just the stuff I've been sort of taught in the first year of cybersecurity, right? So I've been taught networking, that's like the first thing I've been taught. It's actually quite fun, I like doing networking. Server administration, that's just basically DHCP, like I showed you in the packet tracer video, in Cisco packet tracer. Digital forensics, that's basically examining files and programs and stuff to check out if there's been any breaches. Ethical hacking, I just covered in the previous slide, ethical hacking, right? Green technology, which is just basically how computers are impacting the environment and what we can do to reduce the CO2 emissions and stuff, and the electricity demand. Computer security, so like firewalls, antivirus and stuff like that. Hardware security, how to prevent theft, and actual building security, right? Network implementation, that's basically hardware, so like network hardware, like switches, routers, hubs, repeaters, servers, computers, stuff like that. And basically Cisco packet tracer, right? How you would actually implement a network, create a network, IP addressing, and stuff like that. And security reviewing. Now security reviewing is basically, what I mean is making the securities up to date, right? Basic security, cybersecurity. You don't need to be an expert to know the basic cybersecurity. I can tell you right here, right, the best cybersecurity practice if you don't have it right now. Make sure your system is up to date and you have the best. You don't have a Windows 7 in 2023, because that is Swiss cheese. You're gonna get hacked, my friend, right? 99% you're gonna get hacked. The antivirus, you have one of the best antiviruses. I will try and post some antiviruses in the description, so you make sure you have the best ones. They're free and there's paid version. You could use a VPN to actually improve your security. Like I have a VPN, improve security by much. using making sure that your passwords are not repeatable, they're not using them anywhere else, and they're long and as hard as you can. This is my rule, right? If I can remember a password, it's not good. If you can't remember a password, it's long, it's mixed, you don't even know what it is, it's good. It's a good password. Make sure it's at least 16 characters, because each day the computers are getting stronger, especially with the quantum computers, and they could be used in bad, right? They could outperform computers by a lot, which means hacking, like guessing a password, could, instead of taking 7 years, it could take maybe a week to guess a password, right? Or even quicker, because the quantum computers are actually being developed each day, and it's gonna be hell of a machine, right? Make sure that when you leave your device, especially in a public place, you lock it, right? And you don't use public Wi-Fi. Those are the 5 key points I just told you. And if you're a bit anxious about one of them, I suggest you actually fix it, right? Because it's important that you do keep your security. As I said before, it's important that you keep your security up to date. I was at cafe yesterday, Costa. I was just getting a coffee. I sat down because it was so warm. It was about 25 degrees. And I said, I'm just going to chill. I'm going to drink my coffee. And this lady was working on a laptop. And I noticed that she went away to order something and she came back. And she was away for 5 minutes. And I looked at her laptop and it wasn't locked. And she came back, and I tried to tell her, like, you shouldn't leave the laptop, and said, hey, you left your laptop for a minute, and she told me to not worry about it. And then when I said, and then just to change the topic, to maybe warn her about not using public Wi-Fi, and I said, are you using public Wi-Fi as well? And she told me not to worry about it, which sort of tells me that her security is probably bad. Or she was maybe shy. I mean, she wasn't. She was about 30, so I don't think she was shy. So anyways, right, this is the basics of cybersecurity that I try to this is my experience, right? This is just the basics for beginners. If you want to ever pursue a cybersecurity career, this guide is sort of for you. I could do a more advanced guide. I mean, there's not really much more to say. I will post more and more videos about how to try and teach you cybersecurity. So by watching my videos, you're going to get an idea, you're going to get knowledge, and then it'll be easier for you to become a cybersecurity expert. And if not, you'll be a more cyber-safe person that you won't get hacked as easy, right? Hope you enjoyed the content. If you could leave me some feedback in the comment section, I'll be very thankful. If you could probably subscribe and leave a thumbs up, that'd be great, so more people see it and more people will be safer on the internet. Thank you. See you later in the next video.